Welcome. Tonight, let your mind drift into the quiet corners of the English language. You're about to hear a collection of rare and beautiful words, each one chosen for its uniqueness, its sound, and the way it settles gently on the tongue. There's no story to follow, no plot to remember, just a slow, peaceful unfolding of language, designed to lull you to sleep. The images will stay dark, but whimsical. The words will flow, and all you have to do is listen. Let's begin. Mabble, to wrap up, mabsuit, happy, macadamize, to cover a road with small broken stones. Macarism, a beatitude, taking pleasure in another's joy. Macaries, to declare to be happy or blessed. Macaroni, nonsense, foolishness. Macaronic, muddled or mixed up. Macerat, to steep or soak, to break up, to emaciate. Macerator, a person who fasts and becomes emaciated. Machair, low-lying sandy beach. Machirodont, saber-toothed. Machicolation, space between corbels in a parapet. Machinule, tool used by surveyors to obtain right angle. Machies, atrophia. Maculant, lean, excessively thin. Mackinaw, heavy-napped and felted wool cloth. Macintosh, lightweight rubberized waterproof cotton. Macon, smoked salted mutton. Macrobian, long-lived. Macrobiote, long-lived organism. Macrocephalic, having an abnormally large head. Macrocephalus, having a large head. Macrocosm, large and complex structure considered as a whole. Macrography, viewing an object with the naked eye. Macrology, much talk with little to say. Redundancy, pleonasm. Macromancy, divination using large objects. Macromania, delusion that objects are larger than natural size. Macron, straight line placed above vowel to indicate stress. Macrophobia, fear of prolonged waiting. Macropicide, killer of kangaroos. Macropodine, of, like or pertaining to kangaroos. Macropterus, having large wings or fins. Macrocian, one with a long shadow, one who inhabits polar regions. Macrotone, Macron, straight line placed above vowel to indicate stress. Macrotus, big-eared. Macrural, having a long tail. Mactation, killing or slaughter of a sacrificial victim. Macula, spotted, patchy. Maculation, the act of spotting or staining. Maculomancy, divination using spots. Maculose, spotted. Madapollum, fine cotton cloth. Madarosis, loss of eyelashes or eyebrows. Madder, red dye made from Brazil wood, a reddish or red-orange colour. Madderfee, to moisten or make wet. Madderization, wine becoming rusty in colour and flat in taste. Madescent, growing damp. Madid, wet, dank. Madeleine, vegetable slicer with adjustable blade. Madras, fine plain woven cotton or silk. Melid, apple nymph. Menadic, furious, bacchanalian. Maffic, to celebrate exuberantly and boisterously. Magadis, ancient bridged stringed instrument. Magatorium, place where maggots are bred for sale to fishers. Magianism, teachings or philosophy of the Magi. Magirix, art of cookery. Magisterial, in the manner of a teacher or magistrate. Magisterium, teaching function of the Catholic Church. Magistral, of like or pertaining to a master or teacher. Magistricide, killer of one's teacher. Magnality, wonderful or great thing. Magnanary, art of raising silkworms. Magnetics, study of magnetism. Magnetograph, instrument for recording measurements of magnetic fields. Magnetometer, instrument for measuring intensity of magnetic fields. Magneton, unit of the quantized magnetic moment of a particle. Magnicaudate, having a long tail. Magnificat, canticle in praise of the Virgin Mary. Magniloquent, speaking in a grand or pompous style. Magomancy, divination by magic or sorcery. Magpiety, garrulousness. Mahout, one who rides or drives elephants. Maidan, open plain, open space near a town. Meutic, bringing out latent thoughts, Socratic. Maiutics, midwifery. Mayo, tights, worn by a ballet dancer. Mainmast, sailing ship's principal mast. Mainor, stolen goods discovered on thief. Mainpanor, one who gives main prize. Mainprize, surety for the appearance of a prisoner at trial. Mainsail, principal sail on a ship's mainmast. Mainsheet, rope by which mainsail is trimmed and secured. Mainstay, stay that extends from the main top to the foot of the foremast. Majolica, elaborate glazed Italian pottery. Macaf, hyphen used to join words in Hebrew texts. Malabathrum, dried leaf used in ancient times to make perfumed ointments. Malicisation, act of making soft or supple. Malacoid, made of a soft or fleshy substance. Malacology, study of mollusks. Malacophilus, pollinated by snails. Malacophonous, soft-voiced. Malagma, emollient plaster. Malaguena, Spanish dance performed by a couple, similar to the fandango. Malapert, bold, forward, saucy. Malapropism, misapplication of words without mispronunciation. Malare, of, like or pertaining to the cheek. Malariology, study of malaria. Malarkey, humbug, nonsense. Malaxage, softening of clay by kneading it. Malaxate, to soften by kneading, rubbing or mixing with a liquid. Malbrook, arboreal monkey of West Africa. Malchus, short-cutting sword. Maledicent, cursing. Malefic, doing mischief, producing evil. Malfeasance, evil-doing, illegal activities. Malgrado, notwithstanding. Malgré, in spite of. Maleferous, harmful, unhealthy. Malinga, to feign sickness in order to avoid duty or work. Malism, the belief that the world is evil. Malison, a curse. Malleation, hammering, a hammer mark or dent. Maliform, shaped like a hammer. Malophagus, eating wool or fleece. Malaseismic, suffering from frequent and severe earthquakes. Malm, calcareous loam used in making brick. Malmsey, sweet perfumed wine. Maltha, thick mineral pitch. Maltster, one who makes or deals in malt. Malvaceous, of, like or pertaining to the mallow family of plants. Malversation, corruption in office, corrupt administration, misconduct. Mumbo, Cuban ballroom dance resembling the rumba or cha-cha. Mamel, rounded hill. Mamelon, rounded hill or protuberance. Mammalogy, study of mammals. Mamma, to stammer, to waver, to be undecided. Mammetry, idolatry, idols collectively. Mammiferous, having breasts. Mammiform, shaped like a breast. Mamilla, nipple. Mammillaform, shaped like a nipple. Mammock, scrap or shred, a broken piece. Mammogenic, promoting growth of the milklands. Mammon riches the wealthy, the upper classes. Mammonism, devotion to pursuit of wealth. Mammos, shaped like a breast. Mamothrep, spoiled child. Mamza, illegitimate child. Manal, of, like or pertaining to the hand. Mancipation, legal transfer by actual or symbolic sale. Mancipal, steward of a college or monastery, purveyor. Mandament, command, order. Mandamus, writ instructing that an action should be performed. Mandarism, government with a large bureaucracy. Mandative, of, like or pertaining to commands or leadership. Mandibuliform, shaped like a mandible or jawbone. Mandorla, oval panel containing a work of art, elliptical halo around holy person. Mandrel, axle of a circular saw. Mandriarch, founder or leader of a monastic order. Mandricate, to chew or eat. Mandilion, loose outer garment worn over armour. Manege, the art of horsemanship. Mangabe, long-tailed tropical African monkey. Manganiferous, bearing manganese. Mangonel, medieval war engine for throwing stones. Manicate, having a woolly growth that can be peeled off. Manicism, left-handedness. Maniform, having the shape of a hand. Maniple, clerical vestment worn on the left arm. Manometer, instrument for measuring pressure of a liquid or gas. Manqué, having had unfulfilled ambition, failing to achieve expectation. Manrope, rope used as a handrail on a ship. Mansionary, residence, mansions. Mansuetude, meekness, tameness, sweetness of temper. Mansworn, perjured. Mantelletta, knee-length sleeveless garment worn by Catholic cardinals and bishops. Mantic, of, like or pertaining to divination, prophetic, divinely inspired. Mantissa, decimal part of logarithm. Mantology, fortune-telling. Manubrial, shaped like a handle. Manubrium, any handle-like structure. Manuduction, careful guidance leading by hand. Manumission, emancipation, freedom from slavery. Manurance, cultivation. Manustupration, masturbation. Manzello, variant form of soprano saxophone. Mapamond, map of the world. Maquette, small model of something to be made on a larger scale. Maquis, guerrilla resistance force. Marabou, thin downy silk. Maraging, process by which alloy is slowly cooled in the air. Mara, bitterness, something bitter. Marasmus, wasting away of the body, emaciation due to malnutrition. Mark, refuse from wine-making. Marcella, cotton or linen in twill weave. Marcescent, withering without falling off. Marchpane, old name for marzipan. Marxidity, state of great leanness. Marcottage, propagation of trees by stripping ring of bark and covering with moss. Maremma, marsh, miasma. Margaric, pearl-like. Margaritiferous, pearl-bearing. Margaritomancy, divination using pearls. Mariculus, living in the sea. Mariculture, cultivation of aquatic flora and fauna. Mariginous, produced by or in the sea. Marigraph, instrument for recording tide levels. Marimbaphone, marimba with steel keys. Mariolatry, worship of the Virgin Mother. Mariology, study of the Virgin Mary. Maritage, right of feudal lord to arrange marriages of vassals. Mariticide, killing or killer of one's husband. Maritodespotism, ruthless domination by a husband, marivaudage, preciosity in literary style or expression, markhor, reddish-grey Central Asian wild goat, marl, clay used as fertilizer, marline, small rope wound about larger rope to keep it from fraying, marmorosis, conversion of limestone into marble, marmoreal, of or like marble, marocaine, ribbed crepe fabric, marqueterie, furniture inlaid with multicoloured wood, ivory or metal, marquisette, sheer meshed cloth, Marano, Jew converted to Christianity to avoid persecution, marry, expression of surprised agreement, martello, circular fort for coastal defence, martext, ignorant preacher, martinet, a strict disciplinarian, one who adheres to rules, martingale, lower stay of rope used to sustain strain of the forestays, martingale, strap between horses' forelegs to keep its head down, martlet, heraldic representation of a bird without feet, martyrium, shrine erected in memory of a martyr, martyr-latry, excessive devotion to martyrs, martyrology, study of martyrs, marva, marble or iron slab on which molten glass is rolled, mascaron, grotesque face on a door knocker, machalophedrosis, massive sweating of the armpits, massel, diamond-shaped plate or scale, mascon, concentration of dense mass beneath the moon's surface, maskirovka, use of deception or camouflage as military stratagem, masseter, muscle used to move the lower jaw, masteret, degree or title of a master, masticate, to chew, to knead mechanically, mastigophorus, bearing a whip, mastoid, like a nipple or teat, mastology, study of mammals, matachin, Spanish ritualized sword dance or battle dance, matlassé, having a quilted ornamentation, fabric with raised pattern as if quilted, materialism, belief that matter is the only extant substance, matterteral, of or resembling an aunt, mathimancy, divination by counting, mathematicaster, minor or inferior mathematician, mathematicism, belief that everything is expressible in mathematical terms, mathesis, mental discipline, learning or wisdom, matinal, of, like or pertaining to the morning, matins, prayer service held in early morning hours, matras, long-necked chemical flask, matricle, of, like or pertaining to a womb or a matrix, matricula, of, like or pertaining to a register, matriherital, of, like or pertaining to inheritance along the female line, metritism, love for country or other institution when regarded as a mother, matripotestal, of, like or pertaining to the power of mothers, matriclinic, more like the mother than the father, matryoshka, Russian hollow wooden doll, mattery, purulent, mattock, pickaxe for loosening soil, mattoid, person on borderline between sanity and insanity, maturescent, becoming mature, matutinal, of, like or pertaining to the morning, happening early in the day, matutolipea, getting up on the wrong side of the bed, maudlin, tearfully sentimental, maugre, in spite of, notwithstanding, maulstick, stick used by painters to steady the hand, maunder, to grumble, to drivel, to mutter, maundy, custom of sovereign washing feet of poor or giving alms, mavrodaphne, sweet dark red Greek wine, maxillary, of, like or pertaining to a jaw, maximalism, uncompromising adherence to extreme demands. Maxiques, Brazilian ballroom dance resembling the two-step. Maxwell, unit of magnetic flux. Maya, illusion, the world of phenomena. Mayhap, perhaps. Mazarin, rich blue or reddish blue colour. Mezza, hardwood drinking bowl. Mazurka cothesis, abnormal position of the placenta. Massology, mammalogy, study of mammals. Masopathia, any disease of the placenta. Mazurka, Polish folk dance in moderate triple measure. Mazout, petroleum residue after distillation. Mazy, dizzy, confused, labyrinthine, convoluted. Mazard, wild sweet cherry. Madziba, ancient Jewish sacred stone pillar. Mbalax, West African popular music. Mbakanga, jazz-influenced Southern African popular music style. Mbira, African musical instrument made of a hollow resonator and metal vibrating strips. Meeble, easily penetrable. Meatus, opening of a passage or canal. Mecate, Old Mexican measure of about 1/10 of an acre. Mechanism, belief that life is explainable by mechanical forces. Mechanography, mechanical reproduction of art. Mechanolatry, worship of machines. Mechanomorphic, having the form of a machine. Mechometer, instrument for measuring length. Meconium, first feces of a newborn child. Mechanology, study of or treatise concerning opium. Mechanomancy, divination using sleep. Mechanophagist, consumer of opium or heroin. Mediagenic, able to present a good image in the media. Medianic, of, like or pertaining to spiritualists, mediums or prophets. Medicament, externally applied curative treatment. Medicaster, quack, charlatan. Meditabund, absorbed in meditation. Medius, the middle finger. Medullary, consisting of or resembling marrow or pith. Medusiform, resembling a jellyfish. Meadless, undeserving, unrewarded. Meerkat, small long-tailed African ground squirrel or mongoose. Meat, fitting, proper. Megaserene, extinct giant deer. Megachiropteran, of, like or pertaining to fruit bats. Megalith, large rough stone used as a monument. Megalography, artistic depiction of legendary or significant events. Megameter, instrument for determining longitude by observing stars. Megaprosopus, having a large face. Megascope, instrument for projecting an enlarged image. Megascopic, visible to the naked eye. Megathermic, surviving only in tropical climates. Megistotherm, plant requiring very high temperatures. Megrim, dizziness, migraine, low spirits. Mahari, camel used for racing. Meiosis, understatement of size or importance for rhetorical effect. Mechometer, rangefinder. Mel, honey, melalgia, pain in the limbs. Melanic, black, very dark. Melaniferous, containing or bearing melanin. Melano, abnormally dark person or animal. Melanocroic, dark-skinned. Melasma, dark patch of skin. Meldometer, instrument for measuring melting points of substances. Melagreen, of, like or pertaining to turkeys. Melic, to be sung, lyric. Mellicrous, having a honey-like colour. Meline, canary yellow. Meliorism, the belief the world tends to become better. Mellifugous, feeding upon honey. Melisma, tune. Melodic embellishment. Ornamentation. Melismatic, florid in melody. Melitology, study of bees. Melaginous, of, like, or pertaining to or resembling honey. Melliferous, producing or forming honey. Mellification, honey-making, melliloquent, speaking harmoniously or sweetly. Mellissonant, sweet-sounding, mellivorous, honey-eating. Melodicon, keyboard instrument that brings tuning forks in contact with rotating cone. Melologue, recitation with musical accompaniment. Melomania, craze for music. Melopepon, any of various kinds of squash. Melopuia, composition of music. Melton, strong and smooth heavy woolen cloth. Membral, of, like or pertaining to the limbs rather than the trunk. Memoriter, from memory, by heart. Memoriter, from memory. Mennelled, speckled, spotted. Menarche, first menstruation. Mendiciloquence, lying speech. Mendacity, insincerity, inclination to tell falsehoods. Mendicant, member of impoverished religious order. Meniciform, shaped like a crescent. Meniscus, crescent-shaped object, concave lens. Menology, register or calendar of saints' days. Mensal, of, like or pertaining to the dinner table. Monthly. Menstruum, solvent used in the preparation of drugs. Mensuration, measuring to find the dimensions of things. Mental, of, like or pertaining to the chin. Mentalism, belief that the world can be explained as aspect of the mind. Mentatiferous, telepathic. Mentation, thought, cogitation, cognition. Menticide, reduction of mind by psychological pressure. Mentonniere, armour covering the chin, neck and lower part of the face. Mentum, the chin. Mephitic, foul-smelling. Meracious, pure, unmixed. Mercenary, pertaining to the giving or receiving of wages. Mercer, dealer in small wares or textiles. Mercurial, volatile, fluctuating. Madivorous, dung-eating. Medurinous, composed of urine and feces. Merengue, Caribbean ballroom dance in which feet are frequently dragged. Mereology, study of part-whole relationships. Meretricious, of, like or pertaining to prostitution. Superficially attractive, but lacking value. Merino, soft wool of the merino sheep. Any soft merino-like wool or wool and cotton cloth. Merism, rhetorical device of contrasting two parts of a whole. Meristic, divided into parts or segments. Meritocracy, government by the meritorious. Merkin, pubic wig. Merlin, narrow wall in battlement between embrasures. Merocracy, government by a part of the citizenry. Merogenesis, segmentation. Meromorphic, fractional. Meronym, word whose relation to another is a part to the whole. Meropia, partial blindness. Mercian, dipping, as in baptism. Mericism, rumination. Messail, movable visor of a helmet. Mesalliance, unsuitable marriage. Messeems, it seems to me. Messial, middle. Messic, adapted to life with a moderate supply of moisture. Mesnalty, feudal estate. Mesocroic, having skin colour intermediate between light and dark. Mesocracy, government by the middle classes. Mesology, ecology. Mesotherm, plant living only in moderate climates. Mesozeugma, placement of a word referring to two different clauses between them. Meskin, mean, ungracious. Messaline, soft lightweight silk with a satin weave. Messianism, belief in a single Messiah or Saviour. Messuage, house with land and auxiliary buildings. Metabasis, transition, transfer, in rhetoric, movement from one topic to another. Metabiosis, reliance of an organism on another for environment. Metachronism, an error of dating an event too late. Metachrosis, ability of animals to change colour. Metage, official weighing of goods, charge for such weighing. Metagnomy, divination. Metagnostic, incomprehensible, beyond understanding. Metagraphy, transliteration. Metaglobalize, to mystify, to puzzle out. Metalepsis, metonymy of a double or indirect kind. Metalliferous, bearing metal. Metallogenic, metal occurring as an ore as opposed to in rocks. Metallogeny, study of the origin and distribution of metal deposits. Metallography, study of the structure and constitution of metals. Metallophone, instrument like the xylophone but with metal bars. Metallurgy, study of alloying and treating metals. Metameric, of, like or pertaining to serial division or segmentation of body. Metanalysis, incorrect placement of at start of word following an indefinite article. Metanoia, repentance, fundamental change in character. Metanomen, metaphorist namn. Metaphony, umlaut, change in vowel sound due to nearby consonant. Metaphrase, turning of prose into verse or vice versa. Metaphrast, one who produces a metaphrase. Metaphysics, study of principles of nature and thought. Metaphysis, change in form, metamorphosis. Metaplasm, alteration in spelling of a word by adding, removing or transposing letters. Metapolitics, study of politics in theory or abstract. Metapsychology, study of nature of the mind. Metastasis, removal from one place to another, rapid transition in argument. Metasthenic, having strong haunches or hindquarters. Metastrophe, mutual exchange. Metathesis, transposition of sounds or letters of a word. Métayage, system of agricultural labour with share of producer's wages. Metempirical, beyond the scope of knowledge. Metempsychosis, passing of soul after death into another body. Metemptosis, omission of day from calendar to correct lunar calendar. Metensomatosis, movement of soul into new body before or after death. Meteorism, abdominal cramps and swelling due to flatulence. Meteoritics, the study of meteors. Meteorograph, instrument recording a variety of meteorological observations. Meteorography, written description of weather. Meteoromancy, divination by studying meteors. Methanometer, instrument for detecting presence of methane. Metheglin, mead, honey ale. Methinks, I believe, I think. Methomania, morbid craving for alcohol. Methesis, drunkenness. Métier, profession occupation, calling, or business. Metonymy, figurative use of word to name an attribute of its subject. Metope, front, forehead, or frontal surface. Metopic, of, like, or pertaining to the forehead. Metopomancy, divination using the forehead or face. Metoposcopy, fortune-telling or judgment of character by the lines of the forehead. Metrics, study of versification. Metrocracy, government by mothers or women. Matriarchy. Metrology, science of weights and measures. Metromania, insatiable desire for writing verse. Metronymy, system of naming after the mother's or female line. Metrophobia, fear of poetry. Metropolitan, archbishop holding authority over other bishops. Muse, space through which animal track passes. Mew, to shed, molt, or change. Mewling, crying feebly. Mesitant, method of copper engraving with even gradation of tones. Mho, unit of electrical conductance. Miasma, foul vapours from rotting matter, unwholesome air. Micaceous, consisting of or made of mica. Micrander, dwarf male plant. Microanatomy, study of microscopic tissues. Microbarograph, instrument for recording minute changes in atmospheric pressure. Microbiology, study of microscopic organisms. Microcalorimeter, instrument for measuring tiny quantities of heat. Microcephalic, having a very small head. Microclimatology, study of local climates. Micrograph, instrument used to write on a very small scale. Micrography, description of objects observed under a microscope. Microlith, very small stone tool. Micrology, study or discussion of trivialities. Micromancy, divination using small objects. Micromania, pathological self-deprecation or belief that one is very small. Micrometer, instrument for measuring very small distances. Microminiaturization, extreme miniaturization used in making electronic components. Micronometer, instrument for measuring short periods of time. Micropaleontology, study of microscopic fossils. Microphagus, feeding on small creatures or plants. Microphyllus, having small leaves. Microphytology, study of very small plant life. Micropodal, having extremely small feet. Micropolis, small city. Micropsia, disease-causing objects to appear smaller than actual size. Micropyle, microscopic orifice. Microscopy, study of minute objects. Microseismograph, instrument for recording small or distant earthquakes. Microseismometer, instrument for measuring small or distant earthquakes. Microsomatus, having a small body. Microtome, instrument used to cut very small sections of something. Micrurgy, dissection under magnification or under a microscope. Micturition, the act of urinating. Midda, larva of the beanfly. Midinette, shop girl. Midlenting, custom of giving gifts to parents on Mid-Lent Sunday. Mien, air or look. Manner. Mignon, small and dainty. Migraineur, one who suffers from migraines. Meal, unit of 1,000th inch used for measuring thickness of wire. Miliometer, instrument for recording distance travelled in miles. Miliary, like or concerning millet seeds. Milletaster, soldier without skill or ability. Milleflori, glassware made of coloured rods embedded in clear glass. Millenarianism, belief that an ideal society will be produced in the near future. Millesimal, thousandth, consisting of thousandth parts. Milliad, millennium, period of 1,000 years. Milliometer, instrument for recording very small electrical currents. Millionocracy, government by millionaires. Millocracy, government by mill owners. Milquetoast, very timid, unassertive person. Milt, fish spawn. Milvine, of, like or pertaining to kites and similar birds. Mim, prim, demure, mimmature mimicry, mimesis, rhetorical imitation of another's words or mannerisms. Mimetic, imitative, of, like or pertaining to mimicry. Mimography, written representation of signs. Minacious, threatening. Minargent, alloy of copper, silver and aluminum, minatory, threatening. Minauderie, display of affectation. Mineralography, study and description of minerals. Mineralogy, study of minerals. Miniaceous, colour of reddish lead. Miniate, to decorate with rubrics, to illuminate a manuscript. Miniaturist, one who paints miniature pictures. Minify, to diminish, in appearance or reality. Minim, unit of liquid volume equal to 1/48 fluid ounces. Minimophidian, having the smallest possible degree of faith. Minimism, inclination to reduce a dogma to the least possible. Minimuscular, tiny. Minium, vermilion, red lead. Miniver, ermine in winter coat. Ermine or squirrel fur. Minnesinger, medieval troubadour or poet. Minster, church associated with a monastery. Minuend, number from which another is to be subtracted. Minuet, slow and stately baroque dance in 3/4 time. Minutius, paying undue attention to minutiae. Meiosis, abnormal contraction of the pupil of the eye. Meothermic, of, like or pertaining to temperature conditions of the present day. Mirabilia, wonders. Mirabiliary, miracle worker. Mirador, belvedere or watchtower, architectural feature with good view. Mird, to meddle. Mirific, wonder-working, marvellous. Mirliton, reed pipe. Misacceptation, misinterpretation. Misandry, hatred of men. Misaunter, misadventure or mishap. Misbeseem, to be unsuited or unsuitable to. Misogyne, person of mixed racial heritage. Miscellenarian, writer of miscellanies. Misericorde, ledge in church to lean against while standing. Forgiveness or mercy. Misfeasance, doing of a lawful act in a wrongful manner. Mislight, to lead astray by a light. Misocania, hatred of new ideas. Misocapnic, hating tobacco or its smoke. Misoclear, one who hates the clergy. Misogallic, hating France or the French. Misology, hatred of reason or knowledge. Misonism, hatred of novelty. Misopedia, hatred of children. Misosophy, hatred of knowledge or wisdom. Misotheism, hatred of God or deities. Misprise, to scorn, to slight, to undervalue. Misprision, mistake, overlooking of a crime of another. Missal, book containing complete service for mass. Mistech, bad habit. Mistigris, variation of poker where blank card can have any value. Misyoke, to yoke or marry unsuitably. Mitre, high headdress worn by bishop or archbishop. Mithridate, antidote to poison. Mithridatism, immunity to poison by taking increasingly large doses. Miticide, agent which kills mites. Mitogenic, causing cell division. Mitrailleur, machine gunner. Mitrate, shaped like a mitre or bonnet. Mitriform, mitre-shaped. Mitimus, warrant granted for sending a charged person to jail. Mixen, dunghill. Mixotrophic, combining different modes of nutrition. Mismaze, labyrinth, bewilderment. Mizzen, three-masted vessel, aft sail of such a vessel. Mizzenmast, mast aft or next aft of the mainmast in a ship. Mizzle, to rain in small drops. Mnemon, unit of memory, largely hypothetical. Mnemonist, one from whose memory nothing is erased. Mnemotechny, system for improving memory. Mnesic, of, like, or pertaining to memory. Mobilism, belief that nothing is fixed. Mobocracy, government by mobs or crowds. Mocado, inferior quality woolen fabric. Modalism, belief that the Father, Son and Holy Spirit are three modes of a single entity. Modena, crimson. Modillion, ornamental bracket under Corinthian or other column. Modish, fashionable, stylish. Modiste, a maker or seller of fashionable dresses and hats. Modius, cylindrical headdress of the gods. Modulo, taking into account. Modulus, number leaving same remainder when divided into two others. Moffet, volcanic opening in the earth emitting carbon dioxide. Mofusil, provincial, rural. Mogador, ribbed silk used in making neckties. Mogigraphia, writing only with difficulty. Mogigraphy, cramped writing, writer's cramp. Modulalia, speaking only with difficulty. Mohair, fabric made from silky hair of Angora goats. Moilsome, laborious. Moineau, small flat bastion that protects fortification when being built. Moire, watered silk. Moire, watered appearance on cloth or metal. Moirologist, mourner for hire. Mleriform, shaped like a molar. Molendina, of, like or pertaining to a mill or miller. Molendinary mill. Moleskin, heavy durable cotton. Molamen, great effort, especially in performing natural functions. Molimo, wooden trumpet used by Mbuti pygmies. Molinary, of, like or pertaining to mills or grinding. Molinology, study of mills and milling. Mollescent, softening. Mollipolos, downy, soft, having soft plumage. Mollites, softness, softening. Malicious, luxurious, sensuous. Molluscicide, killing of mollusks. Mollycoddle, an effeminate man. Molo, 2 or 3 stringed lute of West Africa. Molochize, to sacrifice. Molossus, verse foot of 3 long syllables. Molybdosis, lead poisoning. Momentaneous, momentary, instantaneous. Mummilogy, study of mummies. Momus, satirist, critic. Mon, Japanese family crest. Monarchize, to cause to become a monk. Monarchism, monasticism. Monadism, theory that there exist ultimate units of being. Monandry, marriage to only one man at a time. Monanthus, having only a single flower. Monaxial, having only one axis. Mundane, worldly, fashionable, such a person. Monepic, comprising only one word or single-word sentences. Monergism, theory that the Holy Spirit alone can act. Moneyocracy, government by the moneyed classes. Mongery, trafficking or marketing, especially in discreditable ways. Monial, a nun, monoliform shaped like a string of beads. Monism, belief that all things can be placed in one category. Monition, caution, warning. Monetary, letter containing a warning. Monkery, monks in general. Monasticism, behaviour of monks. Monoblepsia, colour blindness for all but one colour. Monocarpic, producing fruit only once. Monoceros, having only one horn. Monochord, musical instrument having only one string. Monochroic, of one colour. Monochromacy, complete colour blindness. Monochronic, contemporaneous. Monocracy, government by one individual. Monoculture, growing of one agricultural crop only. Monoculus, one-eyed person. Monodont, one-tusked. Monodrama, one-man show, play having only one actor. Monody, mournful ode or poem performed by a single mourner. Monoecious, having both male and female reproductive organs. Monogenesis, origin of offspring from identical parent. Monogoneutic, having only a single brood or litter. Monogamy, asexual reproduction. Monoideism, obsession or fixation on a single idea or thought. Monolatry, worship of one god without excluding belief in others. Monoliteral, comprising only one letter. Monolith, large single stone in form of monument, obelisk, or column. Monology, habit of offering soliloquies or monologues. Monomachy, single combat, a duel. Monomania, abnormal obsession with a single thought or idea. Monomorphic, having only one form. Monoousian, having the same substance. Monophagous, feeding on only one type of food. Monophobia, fear of being alone. Monophyletic, derived from common ancestry or parentage. Monophysitism, belief that Christ was primarily divine but in human form. Monopode, one-footed person with foot large enough to be a sunshade. Monopoly log, dramatic work in which one actor plays many roles. Monopsony, case of only one buyer for products of several sellers. Monopsychism, belief that individuals have a single eternal soul. Monopteron, circular temple with one ring of columns. Monoptote, word with one form for all cases, indeclinable noun. Monorhyme, series of lines all rhyming together. Monoschemic, having the same metrical pattern throughout. Monosticus, in one line in one row. Monostrophe, poem in which all stanzas share an identical structure. Monostyler, consisting of a single shaft. Monocy, separation of parts normally fused. Monotheism, belief in only one God. Monothelitism, belief that Christ had only one will. Monothelius, polyandrous. Monotroch, wheelbarrow. Monoxylon, canoe made from one log. Monstrance, vessel used to expose the Eucharist. Monstricide, killing of a monster. Montane, mountainous, mountain dwelling. Montent, vertical member empaneling or framing. Montero, huntsman. Montgolfier, balloon using fire for propulsion. Monticle, a little hill. Monticulus, mountain dwelling. Montiform, shaped like a mountain. Montre, visible pipes of an organ. Monture, mounting, setting or frame. Mooncalf, false conception or fleshy mass in the womb. Moonraker, topmost sail of a ship above the skyscraper. Moorlog, deposit of decayed woody material under a marsh. Moot, meeting, gathering, meeting hall. Mopsicle, short-sighted. Moquette, thick-piled fabric used in upholstery and carpeting. Moor, humus layer formed by slow decomposition in acidic soil. Mora, delay, morassic. Of, like, or pertaining to a morass. Morbidezza, an extreme delicacy and softness. Morbiferous, disease-bringing. Morbili, measles. Morbilliform, like or resembling measles. Morbus, disease. Morcellet, to divide into small portions. Mordacious, given to biting, biting in quality. Mordant, biting, caustic, incisive, corrosive. Mordant, rapidly alternating a tone with one half tone lower, reverse trill. Marine, stout-corded wool or cotton. Morel, dark-coloured horse, blackish colour. Moresco, a Moorish dance or Morris dance. Morgan, unit of inferred distance between genes on a chromosome. Morganatic, of, like or pertaining to a marriage between those of unequal rank. Morganus, to secretly do away with. Morgan, unit of land area slightly more than 2 acres. Morgue, haughtiness, arrogance. Moria, folly. Morient, dying. Moriform, shaped like a mulberry. Morigeration, deferential behaviour. Morigerous, obsequious or deferent. Morion, open helmet without visor. Morioplasty, restoration of lost parts of the body. Morkin, animal that has died by accident. Mauling, sheep dead from disease, its wool. Mormal, inflamed sore. Morn, dismal, gloomy, sombre. Morology, nonsense. Morosis, pathological feeble-mindedness. Morosophy, foolish pretense of wisdom. Morphallaxis, regeneration in a changed form. Morphian, of, like, or pertaining to dreams. Morphew, skin eruption. Morphinomania, habitual craving or desire for morphine. Morphogenesis, origin or development of a body part or organ. Morphography, scientific description of external form. Morphology, study of forms and the development of structures. Morphometry, measurement of form or shape. Morphonomy, laws governing biological morphology. Morphotic, of, like or pertaining to formation or development. Morris, vigorous English dance performed by costumed men. Morrow, rounded hill or headland. Morsel, of, like or pertaining to the cutting edge of a knife. Morse, walrus. Morsitation, act of biting or gnawing. Morsure, a bite. Mortalism, belief that the soul is mortal. Mortiferous, death-bringing, fatal. Mortis, hole or recess made in wood to receive a tenon. Mortmain, restrictive influence of the past on the present. Moschate, having a musky odour. Musciferous, producing musk. Moslings, thin strips taken off when dressing skins. Motable, constantly moving. Motatory, continually moving. Motiferous, conveying motion. Motile, capable of moving spontaneously as a whole. Motograph, old telegraph or telephone receiver. Moton, armour for the armpit. Motrix, female motor. Mot, artificial mound upon which a castle is built. mottle, to variegate blotchily. Mucharabi, projecting latticed window. Mouchard, police spy. Mouillet, sounded in a liquid manner, palatized. Moldwarp, mole. Moulin, shaft in a glacier caused by water running down a crack. Moulinet, machine for bending a crossbow. Mountenance, amount, distance. Mournival, set of 4 things. Mousseline, fine sheer fabric. Mousseline, very fine glassware. Mouton, sheepskin processed to look like the fur of another animal. Movant, moving, capable of causing motion. Mao, to make a grimace. Moya, volcanic mud. Moya non, by means of, on condition that. Mozzetta, short cape with ornamental hood worn by Catholic prelates. Mucago, mucus, mucilage. Mucidinous, mouldy. Mildewy. Mucity, great size or bulk. Mucid, mouldy, musty. Muciferous, conveying or secreting mucus. Mucilage, any sticky substance. Mucivorous, feeding on plant juices. Mucopurulent, of mucus and pus. Mucorrhea, discharge of mucus. Mucronate, terminating in a sharp point. Mucrone, stiff sharp point forming an abrupt end. Mucroniform, like, having or resembling a sharp point. Muculent, like mucus. Muffinier, dish for keeping muffins hot. Mugient, bellowing, braying. Mugwump, one who is neutral politically. Mulsiberian, of, like or pertaining to metalworking. Mulct, to swindle, to obtain by fraud. Mulctuary, punishable by a fine. Muleteer, mule driver. Mulibril, womanly, feminine. Mulibrity, womanhood. Mulism, obstinate quirk or habit. Mull, soft, fine, sheer cotton or silk fabric. Mull, to moisten leather to make it more supple. Muller, flat, heavy stone or iron pulverizing tool. Mullet, 5-pointed star in heraldry, ridiculous hairstyle. Mully, hornless. Mulligrubs, a despondent or ill-tempered mood. Mullion, upright division between window panes. Mullock, waste earth or rock from a mine. Mullock, nonsense, rubbish. Mulm, organic sediment at bottom of an aquarium. Mulse, boiled wine with honey. Multanimus, having a many-sided mind. Multarticulate, many-jointed. Multity, manifoldness, very great numerousness. Multicapitate, many-headed. Multicipital, many-headed. Multifarious, having great diversity, manifold. Multifid, having many divisions. Multiflorous, many-flowered. Multilocation, appearance in many places simultaneously. Multiloculate, many-chambered. Multiloquence, talkativeness, use of many words. Multiparous, having given birth to multiple children. Multiplicative, indicating repetition or augmentation. Multipotent, having the power to do many things. Multiscience, knowledge of many things. Multisonant, producing many or very loud sounds. Multisulcate, many-furrowed. Multitarian, having many forms but one central essence. Multivious, leading in many directions, offering many different paths. Multivocal, having many meanings. Multivolent, having several differing opinions disagreeing. Multivoltine, having several broods in one season. Multure, fee for grinding grain. Mumbo-jumbo, obscure nonsense. Mumpsimus, view stubbornly held even when shown to be wrong. Mundificative, a cleansing or purifying medicine. Mundify, to cleanse, to purify, to heal. Mundungus, foul-smelling tobacco. Mungo, shoddy cloth made from shredding old or waste-woven material. Munificence, magnificent liberality in giving. Munify, to fortify. Muniment, means of defence, record fortifying or proving a claim. Munting, vertical framing piece between door panels. Muntjac, small-tusked East Asian deer. Muonium, positively charged muon attached to an electron. Mirage, tax for the upkeep of walls. Murally, by means of walls, on or from a wall. Mercus, having the thumb cut off. Murdrum, killing of a human being in a secret manner. Murunga, official in charge of ensuring city walls are repaired. Muriated, pickled, preserved. Muriatic, briny. Muricate, rough or warty with sharp points. Muricide, killing or killer of mice or rats. Muriform, resembling a mouse or rat. Murine, of, like, or pertaining to mice and rats. Muriphobia, fear of mice. Murrain, epidemic or plague affecting livestock. Murray, white-breasted North Atlantic seabird. Murray, purplish-black. Marine, clear glassware containing pieces of coloured glass. Musel, of, like or pertaining to poetry or the muses. Muscariform, shaped like a brush. Muscicapine, of, like or pertaining to flycatchers and related birds. Mussicide, substance for killing flies. Mussid, of, like or pertaining to houseflies. Muscoid, of like or pertaining to mosses, moss-like. Muscology, the study of mosses. Museography, description of the contents of a museum. Museology, the study of museums. Musicaster, a mediocre musician. Musicography, art of writing music. Muslin, plain woven fine cotton. Musomania, obsession with music. Musrel, noseband of a bridle. Mussitate, to mutter. Mussitation, murmuring, grumbling. Mustelid, otters, badgers and weasels. Musterline, of, like or pertaining to weasels, martens and badgers. Muster-devillers, archaic mixed grey woolen cloth. Mutagenesis, origin or induction of mutation. Mutative, indicating a change of place or state. Muchkin, old unit of liquid measurement equal to 3/4 of an imperial pint. Mutic, lacking normal defensive parts or organs. Mutivity, tendency to alter. Mutualism, belief in mutual dependence of society and the individual. Mvul, kind of African tree like a mulberry, hard wood of that tree. Myasthenia, muscular weakness or debility. Mycetism, fungus poisoning. Mycology, study of funguses. Mycophagus, eating fungus. Mycosis, disease due to the growth of a fungus. Micteric, of, like or pertaining to the nostrils. Micterism, sneering, rhetorical sarcasm or irony. Mydriasis, morbid dilatation of the pupil of the eye. Mylec, of, like or pertaining to the spinal cord. Myogenic, having a muscular origin. Myograph, instrument for recording muscular contractions. Myography, description of the muscles. Myology, study of muscles. Myomancy, divination from the movements of mice. Myophobia, fear of mice. Meiosis, excessive contraction of the pupil of the eye. Myoxine, of, like or pertaining to dormice. Myriacant house, having many prickles. Myriath, being a 1/10,000th part of a whole. Myriarchy government by 10,000 individuals. Myringa, eardrum, myringoscope, instrument for viewing the eardrum. Myriorama, picture consisting of many interchangeable parts. Myristic ivorous, feeding upon nutmegs. Myrmecoid, ant-like. Myrmecology, study of ants. Myrmecophagid, of, like or pertaining to anteaters. Myrmecophagus, feeding on ants. Myrmecophilus, having a symbiotic relationship with ants. Myrmecene, of, like or pertaining to ants. Myrmidon, follower, hireling, mercenary. Myropologist, one who sells perfume. Myrtle, deep green. Mysophobia, fear of contamination or dirt. Mystacial, having a moustache-like stripe. Mystagogical, of, like or pertaining to religious ritual initiation. Mysteriosophy, system of knowledge concerning secrets and mysteries. Mythoclast, destroyer of myths. Mythogenesis, origin of myths. Mythography, descriptive study or representation of myths. Mythomania, lying or exaggerating to an abnormal extent. Mythopoeic, giving rise to myths. You've just wandered through a quiet garden of forgotten words, each one a whisper, a rhythm, a resting place for your thoughts. There's no need to remember them. They were here only to guide you, gently, into stillness. If you're still awake, that's okay. Just let the silence wrap around you now. And when sleep comes, let it be soft and full of wonder. Good night.